Happy New Year's Eve, December 31st, 2024. And I've been holding off. I wanted everything to be perfect, but I'm out of time. It's the end of the year, and this marks basically my 1 year anniversary of getting into home arcade. And I've been busy. I've been doing what I can with the space I have, and I've enjoyed everybody else giving tours and sharing what they've done, and I wanted to contribute and share myself. So this is the burnt orange home arcade lounge, my lounge. It's a room off to the side of the house where I can just relax and be surrounded by these machines and memories of the 80s and early 90s. And I just wanted to give a quick tour and to share what I've built and what I've chosen. I was late to the game. Like I said, I didn't even know that these things existed, the replicas that is, until about a year ago. My mind was kind of blown when I found out. And since I was so late to the game, I had kind of the hindsight of everybody else's experience, and I could kind of cherry pick the exact machines I wanted for my limited space. So I've done what I could with my limited space, and when I ran out of floor space, as you see, I installed shelves and went vertical. So without further ado, this is the entryway, and beautiful Mortal Kombat 3 with an upgraded marquee. The colors on this is pretty unique with the purple and the skulls and all that. It's a good looking machine. Up here over that you have a Tempest light box that I thought I was going to use on a Tempest I used to have, but sold the Tempest, kept the extra marquee there. Up here is a New Wave Toys Coke machine that operates as a little miniature fridge too. And I'm a big fan of New Wave Toys and Numskull, but no room for Numskull in here. Just a New Wave Toys collection. You step on in and we have a Ridge Racer with a booster and an upgraded marquee. Beautiful looking cab. This is a pretty new addition. The Time Crisis, also a beautiful cab. Kind of loud though, even on volume level 1. So unfortunately, most of the time I keep it on 0, so it doesn't drown everything else out. But it's a great cabinet too. Next to the Time Crisis is probably one of my favorites, the Tron. I think it's everybody's favorite, and it has a lot of visual mods on it too. It has the S-Screen mod up there that plays a little loop of the tower. I got it on Discs of Tron right now because that's definitely my favorite of the two games. I really like Disc of Tron. Pretty intricate game, a lot of strategy to it. And a nice blue NCOM light up coin door. And up here over the Ridge Racer, I have a floating shelf with a 1942 New Wave Toys replica. Now, these replicas stay on all the time. One of the owners I remember saying on a video or something like that, they're made to stay on all the time. So I'm taking his word for it, and it'd be too hard to climb up there and constantly turn them on and off anyway. And I like the ambiance of them just always being on. An Atari Asteroids LCD there with a dimmer. I think it's pretty classy looking neon. I like it. Over there is the Artomat USB charger that New Wave Toys released. And I have a lot of their USB chargers because I sure do need them with all the electronics plugged in. I like the 6 scale. They make really good display pieces. Got a little 6 scale phone next to it, and the little 6 scale stool. And above here, another floating shelf with New Wave Toys again. We got the Berserk and the blue variant of the old coin machine. I remember seeing these in the arcades. The brown was more common, but the blue did exist. So that's a USB charger charging up the things up here. It's a little ghost, Tauntaun, my favorite creature from Star Wars. Another Atari Neon, and a Dragon's Lair from New Wave Toys, and a Field Edition Missile Command next to it. Might as well keep going on these shelves. So there's the blue, more common charger, USB charger. change maker, USB charger. Next to it we have a Ghouls and Ghost New Wave toys. And then there's some little lights, stool, and a Ghost and Goblins New Wave toys. Going back to the arcades, we have Joust right here. And this Joust was the very first arcade OneUp I got. I always liked the Joust cabinet a lot. I like the idea of riding giant birds into battle. I keep giant birds myself, ostriches, emus, that kind of thing. So Joust had to be the first arcade OneUp I got, without a doubt. It's a beautiful cabinet. It has most of the same games as the Mortal Kombat, but in the Joust skin and Joust style. Of course, I had to swap out the monitor because the Joust and then this Centipede and the Dig Dug farther down all came out with the old TN washed out screens. A monitor swap was just absolutely necessary. So swapped out the monitors on both these and lit up the coin doors. Next to the Centipede, this is the newer version of Centipede from Arcade OneUp. And a lot of people sleep on this cabinet, I think. I think it's a great machine. The controls are good, beautiful cabinet, marquee comes out good. Don't need to get a replacement or anything like that. Has Wi-Fi. So does the Joust for that matter. So it's a good machine. Fast and Furious for your driving pleasure. Next to the Centipede, also a very good Arcade OneUp. And this is a new one I got kind of recently. This is the Mossy Oak Big Buck Hunter. I had the original with a riser Buck Hunter at one point, but I sold it, I got rid of it. I do like this slightly taller deluxe version of the Big Buck Hunter, and I have a lot of nostalgia for this game, and I like the Attract mode a lot too, the songs it plays, so I had to get it. And above the Big Buck Hunter is another floating shelf, and we got the Warren Davis edition of the Q*bert from New Wave Toys, and another USB charger because I need a lot of them. There's Saruman the White, one of my favorite characters from Lord of the Rings. A nice Pong sign, some ghosts, some stools, and a Space Ace New Wave Toys in a conversion cabinet, and the Asteroids Overhaul Edition from New Wave Toys with the blue trim. All right. Stepping back, and we have the second edition of Star Wars that Arcade OneUp released. And my opinion, I like this one better because it didn't have the games list on top on the kick plate. It just had a nice matching kick plate that kind of blended into the riser. And there's a upgraded marquee on this one, and it's a really good cabinet. Very well done. It's a shame that the new Return of the Jedi that Basic Fun didn't at least equal this one in terms of quality. I hear there's a lot of issues with the yoke and the control panel's too low. There's no problem with this one though. And this is a GRS upgraded yoke on this one also. But the stock one was just as good. Well, maybe not just as good, but it's suitable and a whole lot better than the Basic Fun one that just came out. Here's a deluxe Vault Edition Galaga. Beautiful machine, has a lot of the same games as some of my other cabs, but that's okay. The marquee was black, very vibrant and nice. The coin doors already came lit up. And next to the Galaga is a Dig Dug, which was a reskin of one of the Pac-Mans they came out with. I had to swap the marquee because the marquee was bad, the screen was bad, and I had to light up the coin doors. But I did all that because otherwise it is a very nice cab, has a bit more of has a unique shape, has the volcano buttons. I think, I mean, it needed a little help, but it wasn't that too much trouble to do that, and you ended up with a very nice cab. I'm happy with that Dig Dug. And there's not much yellow represented in this arcade, so kind of gives that. All right, moving over here, we have everything, all the guts and all these machines is stock, including this T2. I'm kind of like with a lot of what other people say. They like things, they don't want to, walk up to a multicade and have like 10,000 games. So I'm okay with having a limited number of games on the machines for the ease of use, but I do like visual mods on the outside. So this one does have a light up coin door that actually adds credits when you depress them. And the screen is recessed. You can kind of see that in there, make it a little bit more like the original. And it does need an upgraded marquee, and I got one on order. Has some upgraded sound too. On the floating shelf above the Terminator, some more of the New Wave Toys collection. We got Tempest, Food Fight, the regular edition, Coin Machine, and Frenzy in that Frenzy overhaul in that beautiful orange cabinet, flanked by these light bars. These are Govee light bars, and you can set them to different patterns, different colors, and different schedules. Right now they're on their desert burnt orange mode that kind of kicks in late morning and lasts until sunset. I think it's one of my favorite patterns for them, but they kind of do their own thing and have a night. I set them to like dark blue at night, and in the morning they have like sunrise feature, and I have a few of them scattered around. That's what I kind of use as the lighting in this room. And if I need light, I can switch them to like a bright white, which like if I'm building something in here or fixing something, it gives me the light I need. All right, now here is the Golden Tee Midway collab mashup cab that came out from Costco a year and a half ago. And the marquee is good, the screen is good, everything is good. I don't like this J plate here with like the arcade classics on it, but I just need to get around to getting a black piece of vinyl to put over that. Would I have rather had this just been in a Golden Tee skin? Sure. But there was a lot of issues with the Golden Tee XL that I didn't want to deal with. So I'm happy with it. And it has Gorf and Sinistar, which appears on almost no other arcade OneUp. And I like both of those games a lot. All right. Let's move on over to the machine next to the Golden Tee, which is another fan favorite of pretty much everyone, the Dragon's Lair. I'm glad I got this one. Has an upgraded waterfall deck. I lit up the coin doors. There's a little bit of a booster on there because this one had a slightly lower control panel than most arcade OneUps. So a little riser booster on there just gave it a little bit of, made it a bit more imposing, and made it kind of line up better with these two other tall cabs, the XL and a naturally tall Terminator next to a boosted and now imposing Dragon's Lair. It has a good attract mode. I've beaten the Dragon's Lair game. Haven't beaten Dragon's Lair 2 or Space Ace. I played through most of Space Ace. I'll get to it one day. But it's great for attract mode. I mean, it's playing the cartoon that we remember from back in the 80s. So, yeah, I never saw that one. All right, over here we have a Golden Axe, a Marvel Superheroes Special Edition, and a Burger Time. I've got a upgraded marquee on order for the Golden Axe, and it's been modded from a 4-player control deck to a 2-player control deck. Because honestly, how often are you going to have 4 people crowded around something like this trying to play? And it takes up more space. So I think it just looks more sleek. They're all on a little riser boosters to give them a little bit more height, since these are all older cabs, these shark fins. So adding a little booster gives them a little bit more height to have them kind of match with my newer model cabs in the rest of the lounge. So the Burger Time does have an upgraded marquee, and it was worth it. It just adds, I don't know if you can tell, it just adds just a more soft white and deeper colors than the stock one it came with. I think it makes this cab just look a lot better. So I do have doors and plates for all three of these that I'm going to eventually put in to get rid of the games list on there. I haven't got around to it yet. Above these three machines, more of the New Wave Toys collection. We got 1943. We've got Missile Command, the regular edition, not the field test. We had a cigarette machine, USB charger, charging them. We have another version of Dragon's Lair, and this one is the, as you can see, the Replitronics version. So the other ones say Cinematronics, and those are what they're called the Overhaul Edition ones. The Replitronic one is the first one they came out with, and the main difference is the laser disc in the back is white instead of black, and it can't cast its display onto an accessory extra monitor on top. You're going to see that here in a second on the overhaul ones. So the other versions that say Cinematronics is kind of the better versions of Dragon's Lair that the company came out with. But I have a complete collection of the New Wave toys, so I had to get this one too. All right, here's the very first New Wave Toys product that they came out with. This was part of their Kickstarter, and it is the Centipede, a miniature centipede with a perfectly working trackball, plays the game, etc., etc. Next to it is My Arcade Space Invaders with an extra booster on it that I got aftermarket, and it plays Space Invaders and everything like that. And the booster kind of blends it in, lets it blend in with the rest of the New Wave Toys 6-scale collection and USB charger. All right, here's my TV, because this is definitely a functional room. I mean, I come in here every morning, I watch the news, read the paper, and have my games on around me. So I do more than just come in here to play games. And these are those silhouette Pac-Man lights. Just I got up above the window here, and I think they look good. They might not show up that well on camera, but I think they're pretty. They look nice. All right, the last section over here, I have the big boys. This is a XL Pac-Man, another good machine product they came out with. It looks very similar to the real thing. Has a nice 19-inch screen. Didn't have to change anything about it. The buttons are already lit up. The coin door already lit up. Very happy with that. And next to it is probably the rarest arcade OneUp that they've ever come out with, the Killer Instinct Pro. They made 500 of these, and it came out of the box with all the bells and whistles. Of course, Wi-Fi like most of the machines. Upgraded sticks and buckets, upgraded coin door that lights up and adds credits to the machine. And it came with some accessory things like a tin sign and a stool and a mat. But and it was, of course, larger size. You could see how it looks next to the Pac-Man XL. It's taller and about the same width. So I'm very happy I found that. They're pretty hard to find. There's not that many around. Above these machines, the last of the New Wave Toys collection, a Automat with a black light, and it is powering the machines here. Here is that Dragon's Lair Overhaul Edition I was telling you, the more recent and advanced Dragon's Lair. And you see it has an aftermarket little monitor on top that displays, it's like an extra display for the game. It's like back in the day where they had to put TVs on top of these machines because people would crowd around and they wanted to see what was going on. So it's kind of neat. Here is a third-party Donkey Kong. This isn't a Build-A-Cade, though I have one of those too. This is from another seller, artisan, and it's a pretty pricey but high quality one. Of course, it plays the Donkey Kong, and everything is very, very accurate on it. Next to that is a New Wave Toys Asteroids, and it's different from the Asteroids I showed on the other side of the room because this is the regular version. It doesn't have the blue trim. The blue trim one on the other side of the room, they only made 500 of. So it was like a rare edition or so. So this is the other Asteroids. Of course, all these are fully playable. Here's another version of Q*bert, the non-Warren Davis edition, the regular edition, over here. And my little Welcome to the Dark Side sign. Over here is another My Arcade with, again, a modification on it. You have the cab around it to make it look like the old-fashioned sit-down version. It has the actual playable ROM in there. So it's not, the sound's not on now because you'd hear, you know, prepare to qualify and beeps all the time, which is nice, but not for now. And yet another USB charger, change machine. You need a lot of those for all these things up on the shelves. Here is a New Wave Toys Space Ace. And this one, unlike the other one, is represented in its original dedicated cab from back in the day. Most of them were just conversions of the Dragon's Lair. They would just convert them into these Space Aces at the arcades. But they did create these original dedicated cabinets for them. And that's what this is, and it has a secondary display on top, extra. There's a cool cigarette machine. It has a USB charger powering these things up with a LED light in it. And here is a food fight with the yellow trim. These did exist out in the wild, the yellow trim food fights. And New Wave Toys came out with some of them as a limited edition one. So that's why I have two food fights, a regular and this limited edition. And finally, a New Wave Toys Street Fighter. So they got the license. Supposedly, Numskull wanted to create a Street Fighter, but New Wave Toys beat him to the punch with this Street Fighter. And fully playable. Over here, I have an At Games 4K, Sea of Thieves style. You can add pinball. This scratches my pinball itch, especially if you don't have any more room like me. But it's a beautiful machine. And I know they have customer service issues, but when everything's working right, it's great. So, and I think that's about it for my 2024 1-year anniversary of being in home arcade. I did what I could with the space I had for this, I could dedicate to this hobby, and I'm very happy with it. It's just a feel-good room for me. Oh, there is one more shelf in the hallway here. I guess I'll show that with the very last of the New Wave Toys collection. Here's a
I see you over there. Yes, you.
Zoltar.
Come on over and let Zoltar be sharing with you your fortune.
And a little 1/6 scale gumball machine, TV, a fun chicken that the chicken does spin around if you turn it on to do that. This is by a third party, not New Wave Toys, but it's 1/6 scale. If y'all remember the fun chickens from back in the day. A little 1/6 scale working boombox. And from another third party, a little miniature 1/6 scale phone booth, yellow pages and everything, and the light even flickers like the fluorescence going out. And I need a cigarette machine next to it to power all these things, and a trash can. So that's about it. So just wanted to share. Happy New Year's, everybody. I hopefully get more room eventually for more of these things, but we'll see how it goes. All right, guys, Happy New Year's. Just wanted to share.